Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. We are going to be reviewing the Colourpop Your Golden eyeshadow palette. This is their mega palette for the summertime. I did get sent this in PR, just letting you know before we get started. And today I'm just going to talk about the palette, my thoughts on everything. I have swatches, comparisons, and then of course my 3 looks. So if you guys are interested in all of that, then please continue watching. Alright, so here we have the palette, the Your Golden Mega Palette. This is $34 US and there are 30 shadows. I would say the main color story is definitely the blue, corals, golds, and the browns. There are a lot of browns and that was definitely my first impressions when I saw this palette. Honestly, I was really not that interested in it. I think the packaging was just a little simple, but now that I have it, I actually quite like the packaging. It matches my decor really well and I'm like, you know, it's Your Golden. I love gold. But shadow wise, I just felt like this was a lot of browns and then a lot of the shadows inside here just already dupe itself. I think they could have still kept this color story but just added more to it instead of having so many browns that look very similar to each other, and although in the pan they might look slightly different, once you use them on your eyes they kind of blend out to be the same. You don't really see a big difference between the shades. I'm gonna insert an edit photo of this palette when it was just released. It was like a black and white photo. Erin from Colourpop Me on Instagram, she actually created this palette what she thought the palette would look like. Now that the palette has launched, she actually has a petition to make this palette come true. It's like a very cool tone, like blue, purple based palette. I'll leave a link down below if you want to sign the petition. I'm not sure if it's still going, but I signed it as well. So she made that edit not knowing what the palette would look like. So now the palette has released, I want to show you what I would add in just to make the color story stand out more, like bring out more of those corals, bring out more blues, bring out more golds in here, and get rid of all of these browns. And I feel like this would have been a better approach, and that's just really my thoughts on it. Like, I think it's a good palette, but I think there's just way too many browns, and I think at this point a lot of us have already so many browns or our go-to browns. And although I like the tone and everything in here, like I really love this kind of tone, I just feel like, you know, they could have added more to that color story. So for my comparisons in today's video, I'm not going to be doing shade by shade comparisons because I really don't think that is necessary. With just so many browns, I would be like comparing the same brown shadows the same time because it already dupes in itself. And I'm also not doing a palette by palette comparison because I don't think there's a palette from Colourpop that has this like blue coral gold type of color story. So I'm just gonna do shade by shade comparisons for the shades that I think is more unique. So the blues, maybe the golds. I feel like the mattes are really nothing special. So I'm just gonna do comparisons that I think is like the selling point of this palette. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't want to keep my review portion too long. I really want to focus more on the looks. So that being said, I hope my quick little review and comparisons was helpful. But now let's move into the 3 looks. So getting started with the first look, we're going to start off with the shade Secret Spot, and this is going to be our transition shadow. So I'm just going to take that on a really big fluffy blending brush and we're just going to sweep that straight into the crease using windshield wiping motions. This is going to be the base color, so we want to make sure we are still seeing the shadow at the end of the look. So that's why we're bringing it so far out. And I'm also going to take this onto my lower lash line as well. I'm just going to sweep that from the outer corner right to the middle of my lower lash and making sure we are connecting the shadows at the outer point. Next, going into the shade Sporty, I'm going to start packing this one on at the outer corners of my eyes first. I'm just going to pack on the pigmentation there and then I'll slowly start blending that in towards the inner part of my crease area. Since we are doing a half cut crease, we want the shadow mainly in the crease area and at the outer corners. The shadow is pretty pigmented, so make sure you are just taking your time getting this blended out. It really does build up nicely, but you do need to take your time with this blending. So I'm also going to take that onto my lower lash line as well. I'm just going to press that up against my waterline, only at the outer third. And now I'm taking my P. Louise eyeshadow base. You can use concealer, that's fine too, but I'm taking this to cut out the half cut crease. So what I like to do is take the product onto my brush and apply it directly onto my lid. Then I'll slowly bring it up towards my crease, and naturally when you just open your eyes and you look up, the base is going to transfer, and that's where you want to take up the concealer or the P. Louise eyeshadow base up to, so that way when you look up you can see the half cut crease, and that way there will be no transfer as well. So I like to go in with a very skinny brush here. This one is a paintbrush, but I like to use this to sort of drag this along that cut crease line to really sharpen that cut crease up. So with cut creases on me, the actual curve of my eyes is different from each other, so I'm just trying my best to sort of match them. But I think the eye that you're currently seeing, I did make it a little bit too high compared to my other eye, but that's okay. It's been a while since I've done half cut crease. And then taking the shade Suns Out, we're gonna pack this on at the inner third on top of that P. Louise eyeshadow base. I'm taking this on a very small brush because I don't want to go past my cut crease line, so just placing that right on top of that cut crease that we just cut out. I also take this into my inner corners as well, as you can see here, to highlight that area, and I'm also going to take it onto my lower lash line as well, just at the inner third for that cohesive look. And now going into the shade Bay Shore, we're going to place this right at the center of our eyes, sort of diffusing the metallic and the mattes together. And when the gold and the blue hits, it kind of creates a subtle green color. So there's going to be a little bit more dimension on the eyes, and I think the blue and the gold is a really nice color combo together. So now I'm going in with my black liquid liner to create my wing, and then I'll go in with my black eyeshadow to smudge extend that eyeliner out. And I'm also going to take the creme gel liner from Colourpop in the shade Honeydew to tightline my bottom waterline. And then lastly, popping on my false lashes, I am wearing Honey from Petite Cosmetics. Alright guys, so this is the first look completed. We are starting off very glam. I don't think I've worn this much makeup in a very long time, but it was super fun to do. I love the blue and gold combo paired with this really bold lip. This one is from Kaleidos in the shade Agave. But I had a lot of fun creating this look, and it's always fun to do a very glam look. So I hope you guys enjoyed this first look. We're only getting started. And now onto the second look. I'm going to start off with the shade Must Stay, and I'm going to take this on a really big fluffy blending brush, and we're just going to work that straight into our crease using windshield wiping motions. This is going to be the transition and base color for the eye look, so making sure we are just getting that blended up towards the brow bone and also towards the outer corners. And then I'm taking the shade Saunter, and I'm going to place this at the outer corners of my eyes. I'm first just going to stamp on the products there to get the most pigmentation, and then I'll slowly use more circular motions to get that blended towards the crease area and towards the middle of our lid. I'm also going to take this onto my lower lash line as well, but I'm only going to take it towards the outer corners and making sure at the outer point we are connecting the shadows. Next, moving into the shade Fling, I'm going to be doing exactly the same thing, but I'm taking it on an even smaller blending brush, and I'm going to focus this just at the outer corners. I'm not going to really blend it up towards the crease or towards the middle. This shade is the darkest, so we want to keep it right at the outer corner to have that definition. And we're also going to take that onto our lower lash line again, just to further define. And then taking the shade Illusion, I'm going to place this at the inner third of my lid space. I'm just using this shadow dry as it is. If you want to use it wet, it definitely will be more foiled and metallic, but I really want those like little specks of glitters to come through, so that's why I'm using it dry. And I think the shadow is super pretty. I thought it would have been more rose gold, but I'm not complaining. I feel like it's a nice like subtle light gold shadow. And we're just going to take that into the inner corners of our eyes and also onto the lower lash line at the inner third as well. And now I'm just taking my brown liquid liner to create my little baby wing, and then I'll actually go back into the dark brown shadow filling that we used earlier to help smudge, smoke, and extend my wing out. You guys know me, I love a good smoky wing. And then taking the creme gel pencil from Colourpop in the shade Lattice, I'm going to use this to tightline my entire bottom waterline. I think it complements the metallic shadow really well. And lastly, I'm just going to be popping on my false lashes. These are a new pair and a new brand that I'm trying. So this one is from Boldface in their style Meant to Be. And this, you guys, is the second look completed. For this look, I wanted to create a look that I myself personally would wear just going out. I chose the shades that really spoke to me and my personal taste. I feel like this look is very me, so I really love how it turned out. I think the shadows and the tones are really pretty. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this second look. Alright, so we're now on to the final look. I'm going to start off with the shade Remote, and this is going to be our transition and base shadow. So we're just going to take that on a really big fluffy blending brush and work that straight into our crease using windshield wiping motions. I'm making sure I am blending that up towards my brow bone and also towards the outer corners. I'm also going to take this shadow onto my lower lash line as well. And then I'm going to take the shade Sandy, and I'm actually going to place this at the outer third of my eyes. I'm just using this metallic shadow dry just because I want that type of sheen on my eyes, but I don't want it to be so metallic. So I'm just going to pat that on at the outer corners, and I think this is a really nice eyeshadow topper on top of that coral shade that we just used. So now I'm going to take the shade Suns Out, and I'm going to place this at the inner third of my eyes, and I'm just going to be doing the same thing, just tapping that on and blending that into Sandy. And where the two metallic shadow meets is going to create this very beautiful golden shade, just because in both shadows there is a lot of gold reflex. So I'm actually going to take the shade One Way, and I'm going to place that right at the center where that gold is created by those two shadows, but just placing this shadow in the center is going to enhance those gold glitters. So we have a really pretty gradient of coral, gold, and blue on our eyes. So we're also going to take One Way onto our lower lash line as well. I'm also going to take a bit of Rum Season, which is the glitter, and I'm just going to apply that on top of One Way. And next, going into the shade Warmer Days, I'm going to be using this shadow as my eyeliner today. So I'm just going to really press this shadow up against my waterline, my upper waterline. And I'm also going to create a little soft wing with this shadow. And then I will just go ahead and pop on my false lashes. I'm going with Hana from Petite Cosmetics. And this, you guys, is the final look completed. Probably the most simple one out of all three. I think from look one it was very dramatic, look two was a little bit toned down, and this one's a little bit more simple and fresh, but I really love how it turned out. I love the color palette on the eyes. I think it's a really interesting color story, but it still screams summer. So I really like the final outcome of this look, and I hope you guys like it too. And that, you guys, was my three looks. I would love to know which look out of the three was your favorite down below. I think my favorite would have to be either this look or look two, but I would love to know yours. And I would also love to know what you guys think of this palette. Are you guys going to pick it up? What do you guys think? I would love to know down below. And also, if you guys did enjoy this video and you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up for me. I would appreciate it so much. And with that being said, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!